This is Richard back at you, guys. We got Chris's other 400 tranny in the house that we talked about in our previous video. 1 of 1, 2 of 2. But we're going to get this one apart and see physically if the planet's good. You remember the planet was bad in the other and the sun gear was burned up. The backing plate on the third gear clutch pack was broken in a million pieces. So let's get this one apart. Now we still have our nail I talked about, how it can just slide out, real simple. Fall in the trash can or fall in your parts washer. If you go to the car wash, clean your case, it'll fall out there, and you always bend it back just a little bit. This one's probably going to be very toast, but hopefully we can get some hard parts out of this because he's already been to the river in this thing. So we know that when he goes, he gets home. Now you notice this one here has metal sealing rings on the accumulator where the other one still had Teflon. We still have our rubber O-ring here, or seal. Metal rings. I do kind of like the metal rings here better than the Teflon ones. Just seems like the Teflon ones, once they shrink a little bit, they just get loose. With the metal ones, they might get a little gap at the end of the tip, but they're still sealing all the way around. So, boy, that's nasty. This one has a good smell too.
This one's, ooh, yay, you can smell it.
Good smell. Here we got a good looking case bolt we can put back in his other one. The top of it looks really nice where the socket goes. Nice and tight, so we can use that bolt. Save him a little bit there.
Ooh, I haven't smelled that smell in a long time.
Now if you notice this one here, guys, look, 8-bolt case. But I see a crack right there. I'm not sure what case we're supposed to be using. He said one of them's got a lot of the bolt holes stripped out, so I have to look at the cases and verify which one, but this one's definitely got a crack. But we've got 8 bolts holding the pump in. This is a good candidate to cut the bell housing off and put an ultra bell on it because you can bolt the ultra bell with 8 bolts. So all your pump washer bolts, or pump bolts got washers on it. Don't forget to seal them. If you notice on this pump here, it's got all metal rings, where our other one had Teflon. Now this one could have been in before, because I don't remember GM putting metal rings on their 400s. See what type of pump we have. Okay, we do have different length bolts. One long, 2 shorter, 2 really short. Longest one goes on the top right here. Your 2 shorters, and then your 2 shortest. You have a selective washer here. Like I say, these trannies sets the clearances up in 2 places, in the front and in the back. In the front of your center support and in the back of your center support. There's 2 places to set it. So, you want to look here really close. You have your suction and your pressure. Make sure it looks good. I don't have my glasses on, so I really can't tell there. Now this is a really nice looking pump gear, hopefully. Got some really nice bluing right here. Still looks, you can see it's starting to go away. But if you notice, I'm going to show you on this here, because I talked about this in the earlier video, how these pumps are different, where GM decided to put line pressure on the back side of this pump gear right here to keep the backside lubricated. If you look here, it's not there. So if you want to put some oil on the back of your gear when you leave your, for higher pressures, you can come in here and just clean this up right here from here to here and get some oil on the back side of this gear. Okay. So pump body looks really good too. You always want to look for a lip right here at the top, because on this side is where it's going to happen. It's never going to happen over here. Different thicknesses pump gears. 727 thickness pump gears are your average for a 400. Gasket. Now you see your little nail right here? That's when it can fall out. You turn the case over, boom, the nail's gone. Next thing you know, your linkage is sliding back and forth. Now it looks like this one here has never been apart neither from GM, because these clutches right here are GM clutches. This has never been apart. Still got the factory wave in it, which of course we'll be leaving that out in his application. Got the cheap little hub.
No.
You can get a 4L80E one that goes ting, 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 and it'll fit right in this thing. Well, our backing plate looks a lot better in third gear. Snap ring's not broke. Backing plate ain't broke compared to that other one, definitely. But you can see our third gear clutch is lacking.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing there. And that's what he says he keeps killing, so.
Definitely.
And I don't know, and if I'm thinking right, if you notice, this tranny is destroyed just like the other one. This tranny's never been apart from GM. That one's never been apart from GM, but they're both broke the exact same way. Third gears burn up. If you look at that valve body gasket, it's been so hot that I can't get it apart. And I know that that valve body and plate assembly was on this unit because this was his first one.
Oh no.
See? So he took that valve body and gasket setup off, cleaned it, and put it right back on that one. And boom, killed both of them at the same time. Or same way. That's exactly what happened. So, but anyway, you can see here now, I was talking about this drum doesn't have a check ball. If you notice, we have a check ball bleed orifice right here. This drum does not. It does not have one nowhere. But if you look here, it's in the aluminum piston. This one here has the steel piston. No check ball. You remember it had this down in here. See? But that piston will fit in this drum. And next thing you know, now you got two bleeds. See? But if you're trying to get more clutches and all that type of stuff in a drum, and you need to use this in a drum that has a check ball, you can JB weld that hole up. Make sure you put JB weld on both sides, press the ball down, put JB weld on the back side, smoothing out, and that ball ain't going nowhere. I've done it for years and years, never had no issues, but that's how you can do that. Just don't get two bleed orifices in the same drum. You can hear. Some of the early design 400s come with a roller clutch, or Sprag, instead of a roller clutch. And I would rather see a Sprag in here instead of a roller clutch, but look what we got. We got a Sprag. Nice, nice. If you look at the two, this is what we're dealing with. We have a drum that has notches for the roller clutch. Then we have no notches for the Sprag. This does the exact same thing. It spins one way, locks the other. This race here will fit on this. I could take this one off, put it on here, vice versa. But the drums will not interchange. So we're going to clean. This drum's no good anyway because of the groove down here on the bottom. This one here looks really nice through here. And we would rather use this drum with this Sprag assembly. But we're going to get a Sprag assembly that has 20 more of these in it. That way it has 20 places, or 36 element Sprag, 30 places or more to lock this thing in instead of just having these few. Roller clutch, Sprag assembly. Same way with these drums though, we're going to be leaving the inner seal out on the drum. Leave the two on the piston. We have our engine brake band. It's cooked, similar to the other one. Done the same thing to this tranny, because this tranny here might have more miles on it in the truck than his other one. Now you notice the intermediate clutch pack here has no wave at all. It's just all flat steels. Normally there'd be a wave here. And what that wave does, it just cushions the lock engagement of this Sprag here, or that roller clutch. It's just such a violent hit when it makes it shift. So we always like to leave some type of wave in there to where it's just not so violent on that thing there. You can make this clutch pack hit very hard. So. Hopefully we get to see some beauty stuff down in here, some nice looking stuff. A reverse band. I mean, it's just old. Would it still work? Yeah, but it's old. Not in his application though. Want a fresh start on his. Of course, we have our thrust washer here that sits down in our center support. Now this is adjustable. I was telling you they make different thicknesses of these right here. Of course, we have metal sealing rings on our stator again. Center support. Or not on our center support, not our stator, excuse me. Now we always leave the second one down off, and then we replace this one with new ones, high pressure. I get to going too fast sometimes. Don't mean to. But let me show you something too on this sun gear stuff that you can get in trouble when you ordering parts. You notice this sun gear has a space here for that space. If you notice, this does not. If you notice this hole right here, if fluid comes out of it, as long as it's in this circle all the way around, it's going to go around in here and come out that hole. So you could put this any place you want to. It's going to come out that hole. I like to line them up. That way you can see the hole. But you can turn it here, and it doesn't matter. It's still going to come out that hole because it's got a chamfer all the way cut in, all the way around. Okay? If you look at this one, it does not have it. This gear doesn't have it. So you have to line that up with that hole for oil to come out that hole. It will not go any other way, and this one will not fit in there neither. And this one here will not fit in here neither. So you just want to make sure what you got and what you're doing. That's just two different variations of this thing. They all have the chamfer on the bottom. The chamfer goes down. Like that. Chamfer down. So, pretty neat. You want to look at the sun gear here. Both sides looks really nice compared to the other one. We have our roller clutch assembly here that's wore out. So normally they just shake and they fall. They're just totally wore out. The reverse drum looks really good still. 180 grit it. New bushing. Same way here. Make sure your pins haven't traveled. If they have, tap them back down. And we always TIG weld them in here. That way they do not move. Kind of Scotch-Brite this area here. That way your thrust washer runs. Now we'll be replacing this with a brass washer and getting the plastic out of this thing. So, but what we're going for is this planet down in here to see if it's bad. We have our thrust plate and our thrust washer. We'll be replacing this with a roller bearing here, setting and resetting the clenches up in the back. Now I did notice that we still had a speedometer gear. We didn't have a reluctor for that electronic piece, so that's just electronic piece was just to plug the hole, I guess. Just remember too, when you put this bushing in right here, make sure you countersink it because this bearing sticks up. Okay. Now here's one of these bearings I was talking about that we always get rid of too. Because if you notice, that bearing only has half the bearings. This one here, which bearing do you think's better? And if you, this bearing down here, well, where'd it go? This one could have them all, or it could be shy some. It has them all. That has them all. So basically it's just this one here, but some of them other ones can be just like that. And you can go hunt bearings down them and put that style in there and get rid of the weak bearing. So the races are identical. All you need is the bearing piece. All you need is that. These pieces are identical. But you want to look here for any type of wear, pitting marks, any type of little pitting mark in here, that bearing will pick up a noise. So you want to look at all that type of stuff. The planet. I wanted to see if these were too different looking than they are. Okay. Look at the difference in these planets. The only thing you see different physically is the parking lugs in the planet. You can see here the parking Paul's been grabbing it here for park. You can see here where it's been grabbing it for park. Now, I'm not for sure if they ever made a wider parking pawl. I've never seen one if they have to grab more teeth. But I know this planet here will fit in a 4L80E non-reluctor style for the speed sensor. So, with this one here, we're going to look for any bluing of the pins, any wobbling of the gears, anything like that. Clean it up. Looks really nice, huh? So it paid for him to bring me this other core because we're going to pull a lot of stuff out of this to put into this one to make it really, really nice. So he's going to get a really good unit from here, huh, Teresa? Definitely. Got all the time in the world to assemble them and make them perfect. Well, you know, we always thank you, Miss Teresa. You do the best camera work. And Annie, she's somewhere in here. But guys, don't forget to subscribe, push the notification bell. We've definitely got 2 400s over there. I mean, all kinds of work to do. So y'all stay tuned. Have a great day.